Information is key, and that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Time check right now is 7:42 a.m. It's time for us to look through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers this morning. How was Independence celebrations yesterday? It was quite solemn, quite calm, and a lot of people had quite a lot to say as regards that particular one. And before we even go into all of that, anyways, yesterday also as regards still on yesterday's conversations as regards the protest, there was also low turnout as well, and questions have been around preparation and all of that. But the people who are the organizers rather were in reaction to the president's address yesterday. Were in reaction to the president's address yesterday as regards the plans of the president and the presidency for the youth and the youth confab. Is this something that we should all look forward to? Is this something that the youth should look forward to? But the conversation carries on. Anyways, we'll be looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of our papers this morning, and we have our papers here: Vanguard, The Punch, The Guardian, in no particular order. And to give analysis to these stories, we have Fuad Sahid, who is with us via the phone line to give in-depth analysis to the stories that we're going to be looking through this morning. Now we'll do that up until 8:30, and by 8:30 we take a short commercial break, and we're back again by 8:40 for Milan Focus. That's the part where you, our dear listener, you get to be a part of the conversation, share your own thoughts and your own submission as regards the stories that we're going to be looking through this morning. But before then, I'd also like to press in, how it feels, the celebratory mood that comes with Independence Day, why you think it has dwindled, or why it has gone down, or why people no longer look forward to Independence Day, or why people no longer celebrate or go all out for October 1st and all of that. I mean, is it low patriotism now? Should we call it that? They promised us that, with the change of the national anthem, we're going to have, strong patriotism and all of that. But yesterday, people were not even posting as much as, you would have expected. People weren't really into it as you would have expected. But good morning, Fuad.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much. I was just, talking about, people and October 1st, the fact that, the celebratory mood is all gone, the euphoria that usually comes with it. Oh, Independence Day, and everybody's excited. The only thing that people really appreciate now is the fact that it's a public holiday and they get to sit in their houses and they don't have to go to work and they can relax and all of that. But the pride that comes with, the fact that Nigeria, gained its independence, the rich history behind the independence, and what led to the independence, and even celebrations of our heroes past and all of that, it has really dwindled over time. Fuad, should it be a cause for concern?
Well, maybe what has dwindled is the jamboree that comes with the event. The party. I think yesterday I can actually understand what you're saying, because in the past you see a lot of people in their white and green attire. You have that feel that look, it's actually Independence Day for Nigeria. Children will also be very happy to go out with their parents to celebrate the Independence Day. There was always a lot of activities and all that. But again, even the government has to do a low-key celebration. Again, just reading the room and, of course, tapping into the reality of Nigerians at this time. But I don't think patriotism has gone down, Sandra. If you want to know how patriotic Nigerians are, look for something that brings us together, like maybe sport, music. You understand that Nigerians actually love their country. I'm sure you remember the last time when some South Africans were trying to mess up with Nigerians, using these e-hailing car platforms to go around things. And you saw the way Nigerians responded to that, if we play football, for example, and we win, you will know that Nigerians love their country. We are very patriotic. But again, you said, why were they not into this celebration of Independence Day? Look, a lot of Nigerians were into the survival mode. How do we survive the day? A lot of them had woken up yesterday not knowing where the next meal was going to come from. You understand? So for a lot of Nigerians, really, the priority was, look, how do I put food on the table for my family, for myself and my family? And, you can't be in that kind of mood, and then the thing that comes to your mind is how to put up one green and white clothes to run around and go around out to go. So, but for people, it was also a day to celebrate 3 years of Nigerians are not in a good place. Nigerians are not Nigerians at this time.
To this week, and also we can't overemphasize the importance of our dear listener. Thank you for being with us all through, and we're just going to keep appreciating you one way or the other, in whichever way that we can.
The loyalty is amazing, Sandra.
It is.
The loyalty, the trust. I remember, I think it was last year that we had some technical issues, and in those days, you were struggling with some of our equipment and all of that. You could see the loyalty of our listeners. Sometimes we are off air, they remain, because sometimes we are not even on air, and you see the line still buzzing, people still checking on us, knowing if we are fine, So it's just what keeps us going, really, Sandra. That's the biggest motivation, that you are sure there are people who listen to you, who are committed to you, who trust you to do the right thing as a member of the fourth estate of the realm. So I will promise to continue to do more, really.
Yes, we promise to continue to do more. Thank you very much, Fuad. But in the midst of all of this, aside from God Almighty, who we deeply are very grateful to, one person that would also like to, celebrate is our MD, our Managing Director, Mr. Idowu. Would like also appreciate him. I mean, it's not been easy, managing this business and with, the economic realities and all of that. So I think it's also another person that we should also highlight to the people. If you see our MD anywhere, I will press something for your hand.
I don't even know he's the one, really.
No, that's the thing.
He's not a man that wants to be out there, really.
In the open, exactly.
He wants to be at the back end, getting things done. The level of resilience is also a motivation for us in Sandra. Despite the tough business climate, tough economic conditions, his commitment, his support, look, Sandra, is exemplary, really. I've worked severally with different business owners. And this is unique. It's different. I have to say, fantastic, unbelievable.
Well, thank you very much to our MD as well. We appreciate, and also management staff and all members of staff of Milan 98.3 FM. Happy 3rd year anniversary. All right, time check right now is 7:51 a.m. Let's see what we have as the major stories.
But Sandra, okay, I think the papers have it. There's trouble in the Middle East. A lot of trouble. I don't know whether you'll be following developments.
Iran has reacted to
has been sending hundreds of ballistic missiles into parts of Israel. Israel is promising severe consequences. There's a ground battle now in parts of Lebanon between Hezbollah and Israel. The Houthi rebels in Yemen are also promising fire. The Hamas guys in Gaza are not backing down. The U.S. is calling for restraint. There's an all-out war that is already breaking out in the Middle East, and it is terrifying. It's a big issue. As a nation, we are non-aligned but I think we should get concerned. There's already an impact on oil prices, global oil prices, Sandra, and it's just important that we pay attention and begin to look at these things. I'm hoping that on Sunday, myself and Barrister Curtis will do an extensive reading on this particular crisis in the Middle East. But again, it's just the latest development. The missiles are flying right, left, and center. Israel has been able to take down quite a number of those Iranian missiles, homemade short-range ballistic missiles. For the first time, they are using that. But again, some of them have landed in parts of Israel. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of bombings happening all through today, next. Again, out this way, nobody knows. Because these guys are not backing down on all fronts. So Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't even look like a man who wants it anywhere. He just wants to go after everybody and fight everyone. The Iranian guys are saying that, look, we killed our leaders in different parts of Iran and even some parts of the Middle East, and we want to ensure we also give you a bloodied nose. So it's looking really bad, really. The U.S. is also sending a lot of military equipment, to support Israel. And the most terrifying of all of this conversation is the fact that Iran is saying that, look, we know you are going to go after our oil installation. Do you know what we're going to do? We can't eat Israel. We're going to eat their allies. And who are the allies of Israel and the United States in that area? Saudi Arabia, UAE, and some other friends of the West. And if that happens, I think we might be in for a third world war.
Well, there used to be a time. I mean, once upon a time, Iran and Israel used to be good friends until a certain coup sometime, in the 70s, where there was, some sort of anti-Israel, anti-West regime, and everything all escalated into what we have today. You have the, Hezbollah, backed by Iran, situated in Lebanon, and that's why Israel is trying to hound them. And the fact that Hezbollah had been giving some sort of push and support to Hamas, Israel is now backing down. Benjamin Netanyahu and his war cabinet, as Fuad would always call them, have refused to back down, except Hamas made certain conditions. But it's really unfortunate. Just as Fuad has said, there are projections, there are permutations as regards whether this could escalate into World War III. And also the Russia-Ukraine situation is still, there, and Russia is still speaking out as regards the use of Ukraine long-range missiles, saying that if the West supplies Ukraine with long-range missiles, there's going to be a problem. So there's a lot to, talk about as regards global conversations, international conversations. And the U.S. presidential elections is next month, and there's also a lot to look forward to on that one. Kamala Harris is also being hounded.
And to tell you how important this is, this particular issue, I woke up very early trying to follow up with the vice presidential debate in the U.S. Governor Tʀᴇɪᴅs, J.D. Vance, very interesting. I think J.D. did a bit better than Governor Tʀᴇɪᴅs. But at the end of the day, while all of that was going on, I think the attention of the world was more focused on the Iranian ballistic missiles that were sent to different parts of Israel. So that was the major focus, even while that debate was ongoing. And in fact, the two vice presidential candidates had to also prepare themselves.
Yeah, they had to have their own debate as well.
Yeah. So they had their debate, and it was interesting. But more of the issues globally were on this particular crisis in the Middle East. A lot is happening there right now.
There's a lot. There's a lot that's going on. And in the midst of all of this, it's just Israel sitting pretty and still doing what it wants to do and not backing down. Well, more details to come. Definitely one way or the other, we'll be putting some spotlight on it as as the week progresses, or as even the month progresses, or as the situation.
That will be our major focus on political roundtable Sunday. Unless something else,
the Middle East
that tensions happens domestically. Unless something bigger
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. But I think we'll focus extensively on this crisis.
I don't know about that, except Wiki wakes up again and remembers Fubara. But all right, this is trends in the papers.
If that happens, I will not touch it. I'm tired. Even if we can start survive, I will not touch it.
All right, this is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's see what we have on the front pages of our papers this morning. My name is Omobola Sandra, by the way. I have Fuad Zahid with me via the phone line this morning. We'll be looking through the major stories. So very quickly, let's see what we have here. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, the major headline there reads, October 1 protests record low turnout nationwide. Fuad, it was quite abysmal. The turnout was very low. I passed Ojota yesterday. I was at Ojota yesterday, and it was just the security operatives. They were plenty, and they were just there. And then, nothing was happening. Not everybody just went about their business as usual. All right. And, according to reports now, is that the reason for the low turnout was the reaction to the president's address earlier in the day, which called for a youth conference. All right. But all right, but anyways, because the youth conference has been described as some sort of jamboree that has been designed to reward some of the president's supporters. Let me take the report. Anyways, in the Punch newspaper, it reported that the hashtag Fearless in October protest recorded a low turnout in the FCT and other states. This was organizers of the protest, that's the Take It Back movement, rejected the 30-day national youth confab that was announced earlier in the presidential address, the Independence Day presidential address by the president. They described the initiative as a jamboree designed to reward the president's supporters. So, a quick context here. Let's, go back a bit, just in case you didn't listen to the Independence Day address. The president announced that they will convene a youth conference, which he said will be held for 30 days to address and discuss challenges that are facing the Nigerian youth And he said, and I quote, I am pleased to announce the gathering of a national youth conference. This conference will be a platform to address the diverse challenges and opportunities confronting our young people, who constitute more than 60% of our population. The 30-day confab will unite young people nationwide to collaboratively develop solutions to issues such as education, employment, innovation, security, and social justice. The modalities of this confab, the selection of delegates, will be designed in close consultation with our young people through their representatives. Through this confab, it will be our job as leaders to ensure that their aspirations are at the heart of the conference's deliberations. That's the president. But in reaction to this plan, the national coordinator of the Take It Back movement, that's the organizers of the Fearless in October protest, Juwon Sonyaolu, noted that the president did not organize any confab before implementing his policies. He said, and I quote, what confab did he announce before he awarded a private jet to himself, costing billions? Did we hold any confab before he decided to use billions of naira to construct an apartment for the vice president? Or which confab did we hold before they started paying themselves huge allowances, budgeting billions for kitchen utensils? He said, I think Mr. President wants to lavish taxpayers' money to organize a jamboree. We saw what some of them were paid. So, continuing, he said, as a matter of fact, what confab did the president hold before increasing the price of fuel, even between August and now, to over 1,000 naira? Even some are buying 1.5. Nigerians don't need a confab. We don't need our money to be wasted on organizing a jamboree for his supporters in APC or wherever they came from. Nigerians need good governance. It's not a confab that will fix that. For what?
Well, Sandra, let's first address the issue of the low turnout yesterday. The fact that protesters, the fact is that people are tired, and I think people are just tired. And I think people are also fighting, and I'll tell you why they are fighting. I think as we speak, I'm sure that some of the end bad governance protesters who are slammed with charges of treason, some of them are still not able to their bail condition. I think the bail condition is, I think you have to for 10 million somewhere. If you know how stringent those conditions are and what it means for you to be detained and charged with treason, that comes with a capital punishment. You would understand why maybe people have decided to just stay away from any form of protest because of the level of intolerance to dissenting opinions and voices by this government. Because if this is a government that is now encouraged that protesters should be charged for treason, you should understand why Nigerians are going to stay away. Oh, you don't want us to ventilate our opinions? You don't want us to have dissenting opinions? Okay, we leave you. Continue to run it the way you want to run it, which is even the most dangerous thing. It's even a more dangerous thing to gag people to the point where they now leave you to do whatever you want to do. Because what would now happen is that, look, the real protest would now happen without anybody organizing it.
No.
Like it happened with the Arab Spring. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are so intolerant to protest, to dissenting opinions that you can even identify one or two people who are their leaders and what have you, what you would have is that, look, you are going to put people to the trench. They probably recoil, and be looking at you. But the reality is that one day, something will not happen that you may not be able to contain, because at that time, nobody would have organized it. So, because again, look, nobody wants to be treated the way the Edgband governance protesters were treated. Some lost their lives. Some are still trying to perfect the bail conditions. And you know that when you are charged with treason, Sandra, it comes with capital punishment. So who wants to die for protest, just for protesting against bad governance? So that's on that side. Then on the jamboree that is coming, I think it's a jamboree. I think it's mere distraction. Because again, if the government say they don't know what is affecting the youth, so the 30 days conference is what will now unravel what exactly is wrong with the youth of Nigerians, what has caused them to continue to agitate for good governance. For everything that has affected Nigeria that we've been talking about, it is one of the reasons why Nigerian youth are not thriving. Despite their talent, despite their education, despite their resourcefulness, corruption is one of the things affecting the Nigerian youth. We need a conference to identify that, Sandra. We need a conference, a youth conference, to identify that one of the reasons why Nigerian youth struggle, despite all of their potential, the reasons why Nigerian youth are running away from their country when there is no war. So we need a conference for that. This is why some of our best brains are leaving the country in droves, some of them running to unimaginable countries in the world. It's a 30-day conference that's going to identify that. It's another distraction and a mere jamboree. And look, at the end of the day, who are the youth that will not go and attend the conference? The same privileged youth, friends of politicians, sit down for 30 days, drink tea and coffee, speak grammar. At the end of the day, no commitment to implementing anything. You know how many conferences we've organized in this country, Sandra? Those recommendations, have they touched on it? How many of the recommendations of past conferences, from Obasanjo to Yaradua to Goodluck Jonathan, have we implemented in this country?
What?
So we should celebrate that there's no 30 days youth conference again. That's going to be mere jamboree, a complete waste of time, waste of public resources.
I'm also looking at the fact that even after the conference, we will have recommendations from this conference, right?
That we'll never implement.
We will now have an implementation committee again that we will still pay.
And then the committee will review it, and then the committee will now issue a white paper. Another committee will now be set up to review the white paper, and then another committee will now be set up to look at how it will be implemented, and then the committee continues without commitment to fixing anything and doing anything. Are we saying we don't know what is wrong with Nigeria concerning, the welfare of youth, the aspirations, what they need from government? So that 30 days conference of connected, politically exposed youths who will sit down speaking unnecessary grammar, whereas we know what the problem is. The poverty in the land, insecurity. So the conference, it will start to identify that. So they don't know what the solution is. Look, you see, every day, Sandra, I keep repeating the same thing. Are we really committed to nation building? What's our level of commitment to nation building? Another distraction? So we should celebrate that. And so they used to be chosen through their representatives. Then they'll ask you, which political party card did you carry? If they want to hear real youth talk to them, they know the mood they will select. And I'm sure as we are talking, Sandra, some names are already popping up in your head. We'll not mention this now.
No.
You understand those people? The Dubai people.
It's all right.
You understand?
It's okay.
That will show us that they drove in an Escalade.
Yeah.
They flew, they flew, you remember COP 28? Some of our youth that went there.
I just
if you are a youth out there,
I like where this conversation is going. But
but don't let us go there.
Let's not reach there. We're already going there. But the Minister of State for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, has said they will they will set up an implementation task force that will spearhead the implementation of the recommendations from the.
This one is not a committee; it's going to be a task force that will now spearhead the implementation.
Yes.
Sure, you see.
There's a lot that is going on. 30 days of
serious talk,
deliberations for the youth. It's very important.
And then the task force will now be put together to implement everything.
That's nice.
And so what should we be doing with that? That we start celebrating. And there's a youth conference coming up for 30 days. You see,
it's what?
Wait. That committee report, also your report, how far are we going with it? That this same government talked about implementing.
There was an implementation committee that was set up.
Given, I think, 12 weeks. That also submitted the report.
Wait, how many is 12 weeks? Maybe we don't know how to count it. Maybe that's not rich. So let's know, because Sandra, there's a possibility.
You guys say, we know what our problems are. We know what the issues are. We keep deceiving ourselves as if we don't know what the problems are. We know these solutions. We know that as a people, we are not committed to people to fixing what the problems are, and that you are just glossing over the real issues and putting paper over cracks. And then we'll continue to have these conferences now. And I'm not going to blame people who think that, look, the president or the government is trying to compensate some of the youth that work for them. Gather somewhere for 30 days, get some huge allowances, drink tea, eat buffet, enjoy yourselves, put up some very funny, crap recommendations that will never be implemented. Whereas the real issues are there. The issues are there for us to commit to and fix. But at the end of the day, good luck to those youths who will be the delegates to go and enjoy themselves. I'm sorry, no youth is going to be able to really think through the real issues like we're doing here.
Well, in reaction to in reaction to this particular confab, a lot of opposition parties have spoken out, but most notably is the COP national spokesperson Mark Adebayo, who slammed the federal government over the proposal. He described it as insincere, and he expressed concern that the confab might turn into another jamboree to influence youth to support Tinubu's re-election in 2027, despite his poor performance. That's according to Mark Adebayo, the COP national spokesperson. That's most.
As that thing was announced yesterday, Sandra, I can tell you that some youths who are connected politically have already started to make moves. They must be at that conference. That's if there's already nothing being discussed politically on that ground. It just became open. So people who want to attend already, they know now. They will just, at the end of the day, they enjoy themselves for 30 days, recommendations that will eventually gather dust, committee upon committee, and nothing gets done. At the end of the day, we are wasting time as a people, while nations of the world are hitting the moon, making great exploits, ensuring that whatever policy document they put together, they get it implemented, for the prosperity of their people. Here you are. We keep running around the circle of failed promises, lack of commitment to nation building, tolerance to corruption, intolerance to dissenting opinion. At the end of the day, I think Nigeria is a country where we have a lot of people who are just more about their own interests than the real values that can put the nation forward.
Well, APC Director of Publicity Bala Ibrahim has said that with this decision, the president has shown he's a caring and attentive leader who exemplifies the party's principles. It's a very interesting one. And he has
APC leader.
APC Director of Publicity Bala Ibrahim. Yes, said the president is very caring, and we appreciate that.
If he's not a youth, he will influence a youth to attend that conference. I can tell you, this president has made it.
It's all right. Well, there's a lot of reactions, to this particular decision of the president. But further, you can get further details of this particular story on page 2 of page 10 rather of the Punch newspaper. It's 11 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Trends in the Papers on mainland 98.3 FM. But still in reaction to the October 1st, or still on the October 1st protest, Kaduna, Plateau, Nasarawa, others shone rally. Heavy police presence in Osho and Niger. Police arrest 10 in Kano, Port Harcourt as NANS back president's youth confab. Is it NANS, Fuad? NANS.
No, this is not the NANS. This is not the NANS we actively participated in. I have a lot
because
of
I wanted to call you out.
No. We were not part of these shenanigans. We knew what we were doing. And for people who don't know, they never know. This is a NANS that has been heavily politicized. They have a completely different idea. Nobody takes them serious. I can tell you that student unionism and activism have died as it is. I can tell for free. Just take it from me. And of course, this happened because, again, NANS got exposed to political influence. The politicians put their hands and ensured that these guys are sponsored. So when they make statements like this, we understand where all of this is coming from. Right. Sandra, I've seen NANS executives driving in convoy, behaving like the same politicians we are supposed to be criticizing for being lavish. Look, I've seen NANS president.
I've seen a NANS president that has 20 special advisors, and I'm wondering, I don't know why.
So these guys are not different, really. What they've done is to just take the script of regular politicians, and they're also acting it out. So, of course, the NANS guys know that they are also going to be part of the conference. They are going to be some of the first delegates to be chosen for the conference. And they know what I mean. The allowances, the payments, the enjoyment. So they want also part of it. NANS.
All right, let's go on.
It's even shocking that I'm even talking about them. They are even a group of people I really don't want to talk about it. Their level of how disappointing they've been. The word that comes to my mind when you talk about NANS these days, I don't want to say it already, so let's just leave it.
All right, then, let's move on to the next story. You don't want to talk about it. So let's not talk about it. What?
I was having a conversation with one of my friends in the UK now, who was then the General Secretary of Obakoyawo University Student Union Government. For people who went to OE, they know the time of MM and all of that. And we talked about how NANS have become completely useless. When I say completely useless as in useless.
It's okay.
And I can take up any NANS official to have that discussion with me and debate on how they become extremely useless.
Thank you for it. It's okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution this morning. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. It's Trends in the Papers. We're moving on now to the second story on the front page of the Punch, which is federal government extends rice subsidy program to states. So the federal government is expanding its subsidized rice program to alleviate food insecurity in the country, with sales set to launch in Lagos, Kano, and Borno states. And that's according to a director from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Early in September, the 40,000 naira per 50 kg subsidized rice was announced, stating that the initiative was part of a broader strategy to ensure that no Nigerian goes to bed hungry. I went to bed hungry, but it's fine. He said the subsidized rice program aims to provide relief. And when you're expanding something, that means the thing is already there, right? What?
How do you want me to answer this one? How do you want me to analyze this one?
No, because they said they're expanding it. So where did they start from that they want to now?
They're expanding it, but they are starting from Lagos and West State. And then maybe get to Borno later. Okay. And they're expanding it.
It's okay. It's maybe semantics. Like I said, I didn't.
It's not semantics. This is deceit now.
I didn't really finish.
You have not, the thing has not even started. You are going to start it and you say you are now expanding it. Unless there are people already getting the 40,000 naira bag of rice that we don't know about.
They are just about to activate in Lagos and Kano. That's what we have in the report. Say we are going to activate. Get to
Borno State later.
Then Borno later is also going to be addressed. That's much later. It. And we're expanding a yet to be activated initiative. Anyways.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, there's no timeline.
And so this 40,000 naira rice policy is the government's, agenda or policy to ensuring that no Nigerian goes to bed hungry.
Yes.
Is that what you read out now?
Yes. Very caring
That's
and
what?
attentive.
No, that I want that line. That this rice, 40,000 naira rice policy, is what?
Is part of a broader strategy to ensure that no Nigerian goes to bed hungry. That's coming from Abubakar Kyari, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security.
So where are they getting this rice from now? Is it part of the one that have been imported? Or the it's, well, so that we don't work ourselves off again, Sandra. I really want to. Anybody that gets good luck to Nigerians who getting the 40,000 naira bag of rice will help to ensure you don't go to bed hungry. Please go and get the 40,000 naira bag of rice, starting in Lagos, then Kano, then Borno State. Maybe by 2025 January, it gets it. You know, it's about rice, really. I think we like rice. We like it. Rice solves the problem. For everything, rice comes into the conversation. But I know that the level of poverty, the hardship, the multidimensional poverty and hardship we have in the country is not a matter of rice and beans. There are bigger issues to look at. But again, if we want to continue to do these things, this is how we want to continue to run it, this is the belief, this is the way we think the government should run when we talk about hardship and the suffering of ordinary Nigerians, so be it. Let's continue to deceive ourselves.
It's all right. The story is on page 74 of the Punch newspaper. You can get further details there. We also have here on the front page of the Punch, flooding worsens despite 180 billion naira spent on dams. And that's on page 10 of the Punch newspaper as well. We also have here on the front page of the Punch, Port Harcourt refinery misses 7th production rollout deadline. To be or not to be? Should we move on with our life? You're just speaking these stories one after the other. Should we move on with our life? Or should we keep hoping? What? Hoping on what? Port Harcourt refinery. That is owing 1.9 trillion. What's today's date, Sandra? Today is the 2nd of October. Yes, please. Okay. So that contractor must answer Femi Falana SANC that they promised to, because you know Femi Falana has written to them, contractors, talking about the timelines. You got 1.5 billion naira contract in 2021. You failed on several timelines. 84 months or 74 months or so. They failed on the different, and the contractor said October 2nd. So we are waiting for them to talk today. After 6 postponements, NNPCL has again failed to begin fuel production at Port Harcourt refinery. You know, it's just like, Fuad, I think we're stressing NNPCL at this point because I think we're stressing them seriously because you are in your friend's house, you are eating pounded yam already, and they are telling you to come and pound yam at home. Why? I can eat pounded yam at Dangote. Why am I still going to my house to pound yam? Don't you think so? So I think we should just, maybe just give them some slack because people are counting. Somebody can't even know we have had 7. They are busy helping Dangote to sell his PMS. They are talking about their refinery. They have a bigger work to do. They are looking at how to help Dangote sell his PMS. Their own refinery is never the priority for now. Maybe later. You understand what I'm saying, Sandra? Why is everybody disturbing them, asking them questions about why that's refinery? I think we're stressing. I think we just take chill. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I think we just chill. I agree with you. Please. We're actually stressing them. We are. It's too much stressful. I didn't even know we are counting. Is it up to 7? I didn't know it's up to 7. But you know that we have been talking only about Port Harcourt refinery. Do you know military promised that all the 4 refineries will work this year? By December, yes. Yeah, all the 4. But the reason why the focus is on Port Harcourt is Port Harcourt is supposed to have been the first one to have started, and then we moved to Warri and then Kaduna. So where are we now, precisely? We're on the 7th failed deadline of Port Harcourt. So that has affected the other ones. And let's not you know what's going to happen? They will put another timelines out. They're going to put new timelines out. Don't worry. Well, I don't know about timelines though. We'll push it to 2025. Just on Monday, when we're reeling out the debt profile of NNPCL and the subsidiaries under NNPCL. Port Harcourt is owing the largest with 1.9 trillion naira. And then you have just behind it, you have, I think it's Kaduna also, owing about 1.3. And then you have Warri owing about 1.1. So, the finance that are not working. Yes, that we are waiting for rollout.
and they are incurring this.
All right, let's move on now to the Guardian newspaper, 8:21 a.m. and you're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Sandra, do you really believe that Port is arrival?
This is trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. And we're moving on to the Guardian newspaper now. And what we have on the front page of the Guardian: protest, discontent mar Nigeria's 64th Independence Day celebrations. And that is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And I think I mentioned this earlier on. We have riders here in the story. Sowore, others call for a new independence and end to hardship. Police dispersed protests in Port Harcourt. Abuja residents wedged between celebration and security lockdown. Kudos and knocks trail president's anniversary speech. Tinubu's refusal to address protesters' plight anti-democratic. And that's coming from COP. All right. And there's quite a lot to talk about. It's basically as regards, the Independence Day and also the protest as well. What we have here is Nigeria might have scored an inglorious first yesterday with what appeared to have been its most unwelcomed Independence Day.
I agree. I agree with that statement. I agree completely. This is probably the first time Nigerians were so distant, were very, unconnected with the celebration. People just were not bothered with. You will see, we were out there, right, Sandra? There was really no connection, really. No. There was nothing to show that something was happening with for the first time.
Well, the story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper and get further details, especially as regards the protest. And we also have here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Southwest in need of modern ranches, not open grazing of old. The story is on page 4. Thank you very much as we move on. Independence Day, governors salute Nigerians for resilience amid hardship. Oh, wow, look at that. I'm so proud of us. Yeah, the governors said you guys are doing great.
So you know what that means? Thank you for tolerating us.
Thank you for tolerating the hardship. Thank you for being strong in the face of the...
And thank you for accepting our misgovernance, for understanding with us.
That's it. Hey? That's a lot to unpack there. That's a very interesting one. Congratulations to Nigerians.
Like they say,
yes, that's basically it. Congratulations to all Nigerians, for our resilience, for our tenacity, for the strength. Tolerance. Yes, and tolerance as well. I think that's also what we have here. And they have said we should all keep hope alive as the current effort to reposition the country would ultimately yield fruits. When the fruits will come, well, that is depending on our tenacity as well. The story is on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. You can get further details there. We also have here, PDP not one-man enterprise. Governors reply Wike's ally. And that's also on page 8. Very quickly, let's see what we have on the political scene. And what we have here is the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum asserted that the main opposition party is not a one-man enterprise, while vowing to not only uphold the vision of its founding fathers, but also improve on it for the betterment of Nigeria and Nigerians. I don't know about that, but they made the declaration as they sought to push back on claims by the camp of the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, that the chairman of the forum and governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, is supporting Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara because he wants to vie for the PDP 2027 presidential election ticket with him. And the claim was made by a former chairman of Ikwere local government in Rivers State, who alleged that Mohammed intends to run for presidency in 2027 and he seeks to appoint Fubara as his vice presidential candidate. Claiming a strategy to combine resources from various states to challenge
for his life.
I don't know what this is, but
Bala Mohammed Sim Fubara. What a combination.
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Please, sorry for the laugh. But
our politicians say,
these guys are very funny. I think we'll just leave that at that.
It's still Fubara is still struggling to survive the onslaught of his godfather. Looking at becoming running base to Bala.
It's okay. So I think I'll just leave that at that. We wish the PDP all of the best in that particular endeavor.
Their permutations.
No, but you know what's interesting is the fact that even with this permutation forward, we'll still have a 37-man committee in 2027. Yeah, it's all right.
No, I've told you now my prediction, and I'm still standing by what I've said. The APC will choose a candidate for it. You'll see.
It's all right. Well, I also have this interesting report here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. El-Rufai, I didn't steal as governor. I'm ready to swear with the Quran. And that is on page 9 of the Guardian. So the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has insisted that he did not embezzle public funds while in office, vowing to swear with the Holy Book. He explained that he joined politics solely to serve the people and not to steal money or to seek money. And he clarified a live Hausa program stating that he was content with what he had even before becoming governor. So let's not forget, some months or weeks or so ago, he was indicted for allegedly misappropriating 433 billion naira during his 8-year tenure. So it's on the back of that he has dismissed these allegations and claiming that he's been witch hunted by the legislature and the state government. Well,
so far nobody has, found him guilty of embezzling funds. So whatever allegations, whatever coming from Kaduna State, will still remain just mere allegations. Who alleged it was proof. So while we are not saying Malam Nasir El-Rufai is a saint, even though he's claiming he never stole any money, and I ready to say, I don't know this idea of swearing by the Quran. No matter Wale and even his and the other Lawal now have been talking about people swearing with Quran, banditry or no banditry. I think they should leave the Quran out of the conversation. Maybe I think we should just talk about the seriousness of corruption and the need to tackle corruption, in government. And if El-Rufai thinks he steal money, well, we can't dispute that until maybe something happens where he has his day in court and is found guilty of stealing the public funds. If that has not happened, I think it's difficult for anybody to disagree with him on the fact that he never stole any public funds.
It's all right. Well, the story is on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have you on the front page of the Guardian as we wrap things up. ASU gives federal government 35-day ultimatum on lingering crisis. That's on page 5. And we also have this story here. CDHR advocates removal of states from federal structure. And that's on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. So what we have is the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights has urged the federal government to undertake urgent reforms to address the country's lingering challenges. Said quite a lot. They have called on the government to streamline its structure by adopting a unicameral legislature, which they said would make governance cheaper, easier to maintain, and also faster. They also recommended reducing the 3 tiers of government to 2, federal and local, to eliminate the need for state governments. They also advocated for the election of ministers and commissioners by their respective states or constituencies rather than presidential appointments. This, they said, would ensure accountability and representation. They also demanded the unconditional release of detained #EndSARS and #EndBadGovernance protests, journalists and whistleblowers. And they also emphasized the need for free and compulsory primary and secondary education for all Nigerian children, and also reduce tertiary education fees as well. And these are the recommendations from CDHR as regards restructuring.
Brilliant recommendations. Always going to bail the cat. Even recommendations that are not as far-reaching that have been put forward in the past. Nobody has been able to push anything through. If you understand what I'm saying, you are talking about a unicameral legislature, whereas the people that are benefiting from this bicameral legislature that we have would never allow it to happen. If you understand, and then you're also talking about removing governors from the political structure, whereas there's no amendment to the constitution that can happen without the support of at least 24, 25 governors in the country. So you can see that brilliant recommendations, but would it ever happen? I don't think so.
It's all right. Well, that's a wrap for today on Trends in the Papers. Thank you for staying with us. Those are the major stories from The Punch and The Guardian. Well, those are the major stories. But of course, we also have one story here on the front page of Vanguard, and that's as regards the fact that the CSOs, civil society organizations, are saying that Tinubu failed to address Nigerians' problems in his Independence Day speech. That's on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper, so we can get more details there as regards that one. There's also this really interesting story here. NNPCL allocates 48.6 million barrels of crude to Dangote refinery, and that's on page 19 of Vanguard newspaper. That's all we can take for this morning. So we'll take a short commercial break now. When we come back, we move on to Milan Focus, and that's the part where you get to be a part of the conversation. So don't touch the dial. It's still Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll be right back.